Unique. Good morning, friends. My name is Whitney, and I recently graduated from an internal medicine residency program, and now I am fun-employed. So I decided to use this time in my life to rediscover my passions for exploration and productivity and self-actualization. One of the hardest parts about residency for me was feeling like I could never control my own time. Every 2 to 4 weeks, we'll switch to a different rotation where the schedules can vary drastically. As you can imagine, my life felt like I was constantly at the mercy of whatever rotation I was on. Something that has always made me feel more grounded and in control is having a daily morning routine. There's something really relaxing about just waking up and not having to think about what to do next. So now that I've graduated from residency and am redesigning my morning ritual, I figured I should probably take notes and inspirations from successful folks who I really admire. So, this is the first episode of my Waking Up with Blank series, where I follow and then rate the morning routines of various scientists, entrepreneurs, content creators, and leaders. Today's first episode features the morning routine of Tim Ferriss. For those of you who don't know, Tim Ferriss is a hugely successful author, podcaster, entrepreneur, and investor. He first gained notoriety for writing the book, The 4-Hour Workweek, which challenges the traditional notion that the best way to succeed in life is to slave away at a 9-to-5 job. He also hosts the highly influential podcast named after himself, given that he has written 2 books, Tribe of Mentors and Tools of Titans, which have compiled the tools, tricks, and habits of world-class performers. I figured Tim Ferriss has probably incorporated the best from the best into his daily morning ritual. So, how does his morning routine rank in terms of manageability, adaptability, productivity, uniqueness, and being holistic? Let's find out. So the Tim Ferriss morning routine actually starts the night before.
Number 1, when you go to bed, put your phone on airplane mode, because if you wake up and you're barraged with text messages and notifications and so on, you will be immediately short-circuited. You want to have a boot up sequence of your own.
As I've shared before, I also try to avoid my phone first thing in the morning. When I wake up, my mind feels like a clean slate, and I don't want my attention to be immediately flooded by social media, texts, emails. I want to be fully in control of my mind for the first part of the day. So I usually leave my phone in another room to charge overnight and avoid touching it until I'm done with my morning routine. But sometimes as I'm going through my ritual, my phone can be helpful with setting timers, jotting down reminders, or even using meditation apps. So even though my phone is usually on Do Not Disturb, when I pick up the phone to check the weather before a walk, for example, the red notification bubbles or messages are already waiting for me. The airplane mode with Wi-Fi turned off truly keeps me undistracted. Good morning, Toronto.
I would recommend number 1, waking up, making your bed.
So the first thing Tim Ferriss does upon waking up is make his bed, a small task that has become an anchor in his life. And he's not the only one. Just Google Make Your Bed and you'll find a book based off the famous commencement speech by William McRaven, a Navy SEAL who also touts the merits of the simple but powerful act of starting the morning with an accomplishment, which then cascades into a series of accomplishments throughout the day. And no matter how many unexpected surprises pop up during the day or how far you deviate from your plans, you can always come back to a nicely made bed at night and feel ready to reset the next day.
What I would recommend for many people right after that is just do 10, 15 push-ups or some type of sun salutations or something like that to prime your nervous system.
Next, he immediately does some sort of physical activity that engages the whole body to increase adrenaline and dopamine levels to improve mood, focus, and alertness. If you're brave, you could also try cold showers to provide a similar effect, but I definitely prefer sticking to movement. This is especially helpful for me because usually I'll try meditating after I wake up, but if I'm still groggy, I sometimes fall asleep. Adding this bit of movement beforehand really helps.
In addition to that, if you want to add extra credit, I would suggest that you consider either journaling, which I do almost every morning, with most typically the 5-minute journal, or morning pages.
So the 5-minute journal is a quick and easy way to start journaling. It usually consists of 3 prompts that cover gratitude, setting intentions or goals for the day, and affirmations. This would be a good choice for folks who are new to journaling and don't know where to start, or even more experienced folks who just prefer some guidance or structure. On the other hand, Morning Pages has no prompts but involves more of a brain dump onto a blank page to help you clear your mind. As someone with constantly racing thoughts, I think I was a bit scared to release the chaos inside my head. But honestly, once I allowed myself to word vomit on the page, I recognized how ridiculous some of my anxieties were and felt more relieved. Depending on what you need, I encourage you to try either or both to see what works best for you. In the future, I'll do a Journal With series where I look at various journaling techniques of successful folks like Bruce Lee, Einstein, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and I'll come back to Tim Ferriss.
Then you can look at meditation, typically 10 to 20 minutes.
Of all the tasks in his morning routine, the one that was most daunting to me was meditating. I was first exposed to meditation in high school, and since then I've tried to make it a regular habit millions of times and failed millions plus one. I've tried chanting, body scans, visualization, and guided meditations, which are largely concentration meditations. But Tim Ferriss introduced me to this new concept of Vipassana, which is a form of insight or awareness meditation. The simplest form is to observe your breath. I'll further discuss different forms of meditations in a future series called Meditating with Blank. But if you're new to meditating or trying to get back on the wagon like me, guided meditations are the most approachable in my opinion. There are plenty of free apps like Insight Timer or even YouTube videos where you can find one that resonates well with you. And finally, exercise. He doesn't specifically talk about exercising in this particular video, but in most interviews, Tim Ferriss mentions usually rounding out his morning with a 20 to 90 minute workout. He enjoys a variety of physical activities like rowing, acro yoga, and rock climbing. I usually do a quick 30-minute HIIT workout with weights, and I can't recommend Carolyn Griffin enough. She's a badass physical trainer who started making videos during the pandemic, and her workouts are the most fun and challenging ones that keep me coming back. But in the end, my recommendation is always to find movement that you enjoy doing. Start slow and stay consistent. I used to think exercise meant running, which I still hate doing till this day. It wasn't until I tried aerial silks, dancing, or yoga that I learned to love being active. There are plenty of workout videos on YouTube, and hopefully you find something you enjoy.
Thanks, Carolyn.
So that was the Tim Ferriss morning routine. Pretty simple and straightforward, but how does it rate? First, let's look at adaptability. So when I was researching this video, I actually looked at a few different interviews that he's done with various folks. For the most part, the components of his routine are the same, but each time the sequence of events might vary slightly. Some days he'll journal before he meditates, and other days he'll jump straight into meditation. Sometimes his workouts will be 20 minutes, and other days it'll stretch out to 90. He also gives various options for most of his recommendations. So for the morning movement, he'll suggest things like jumping jacks or sun salutations, but I could also see like push-ups and burpees working as well. For journaling, he discusses two very different styles depending on if you need something more structured or just a brain dump. And even for meditation, he offers various techniques that can work for different folks. Overall, highly adaptable. Compared to other morning routines I've seen where people wake up at the exact same time every day and go through the same exact sequence of events in the same order, I feel like Tim Ferriss really just focuses on making your bed right away. Other than that, pretty adaptable. I can see this routine working for anyone from a college student to a parent to even someone fun employed. So for adaptability, 5 stars. Next, let's talk about manageability. From start to finish, this routine took me about 25 minutes without the workout, and if you added in a 30-minute HIIT workout like I did, 55 minutes total. Clocking in at less than an hour, the Tim Ferriss morning routine is very manageable time-wise. And the tasks that he's included, very doable as well. Make your bed, grade school kid can do it. 10 to 15 jumping jacks, easy. And for people who are new to journaling, he even includes a highly structured 3-question guided prompt. In my opinion, the most intimidating or daunting task on this list is the meditation. But with the guided meditations that he recommends, it's quite easy to follow and try. Overall, I would say very manageable, 5 stars. Next up, how holistic is this morning routine? So I might be an overachiever, but I want my morning routine to discipline my mind, body, and spirit. Tim Ferriss's ritual definitely checks off the boxes for body and spirit, with the exercise, the meditation, the journaling, guided affirmations, gratitude practice. But I was surprised to find that there were no cognitive tasks like reading or deep work, which brings me to my next point, productivity. I was hoping for something cognitively challenging, or at least maybe an exercise where I could sit down and plan the day. But by the time I finished his morning routine, I didn't feel as accomplished. If you use this 5-minute journaling, one of the prompts does ask, what are 3 things that you can do today to win the day? And that is one way to prioritize your to-do list and, in a way, plan your day. I will say, even though I don't feel immediately productive after finishing his morning routine, I do feel like my mind and body are primed to handle whatever cognitive tasks and challenges I have coming at me for the rest of the day. And I do think that's because I have already gotten rid of all of this anxious and distracted energy through exercising and through meditating and journaling. Overall, 3.5 stars for comprehensiveness, 3 stars for productivity. And finally, uniqueness. On the surface, Tim Ferriss's routine seems pretty standard. It includes things that we've all heard before: journal, meditate, exercise. But I did learn some pretty helpful hacks, like putting my phone on airplane mode or doing a brain dump with morning pages. He also introduced me to Tara Brach's smile meditation, which has been really helpful at this point in my life. So for uniqueness, 4 stars. So the overall rating for Tim Ferriss's morning routine, drumroll please, 4.1. Strong outline of a morning routine. Very manageable, very adaptable, and a great place to start if you've never had a morning routine before. Lots of space for you to tweak and experiment to make it uniquely your own. Thanks, Tim Ferriss. I hope you enjoyed this video. I had so much fun making it. If you found this to be of value, please consider subscribing to my channel, where you can follow along as I explore, experiment, and grow. Hopefully you find something along the way that helps you become the best version of you. See you guys next time. Bye.